I'd start with a really great that we did. This runs really from Grassington and heads down towards Bolton Abbey and then all the way round and back up again. And I think I'll start with just giving you the resources that you'll need for it. So the first thing for that is Ordnance Survey map, which I've taken apart over here, and is map number 98. So map number 98. That only covers part of it, and we didn't have the other map that was required. I've got to set this one up over there. That's right. So yeah, we didn't have the second map that was needed. The other one that you can get away with is Outdoor Leisure 2. Now it comes in two forms. There's the old one, which doesn't work, and then the new one, OL2, which covers a completely different area. They're both classed as Outdoor Leisure 2, but it's the orange one that might have a bit of information. But ideally, you would have the next map down underneath this one, the 98, which I haven't got the number of because I'm not that well organised. Typical, really. Okay, so as far as other resources that you'll need, we actually got the route from cyclethedales.com. I think it is. I will have a look. cyclethedales.org.uk, and the route is called Lower Wharfedale, and you can just search for it and they can print it off. And unfortunately the quality of the OS map that they've got there, although all the others are really good, this one is pretty unreadable, so you can't actually detect any of the names that are written on here at all. So you will have to get yourself a proper OS map to follow, or use the OS map on your phone, which I know some people do, but I certainly don't. We've never quite got that far. And anyway, while you're riding a tandem, someone else can handle the map reading when you're focusing on where you're going at the time. So that's really good. So I would recommend printing this route off with the instructions. We had the instructions on the back, but in all truth you could have the instructions on your phone or somewhere else, but you will need a bit of a map. And ideally, the great thing about this is it is all on one thing, and you can soon work out, and you can write all over it. They also do a more diagrammatic version of it that's available there when you look at the route, and you can see that it's really in three stages here. We've got the lower section, which is Bolton Abbey around Barden. Then you've got the second bit that goes from Barden up to Burnsall, where Burnshall's a lovely stop on the river, and then you can come up and you've got this top section that goes between Burnsall and Grassington. Really nice ride. I would say out of all the rides we've done in the Yorkshire Dales, this one gives you the prettiest views, some of the most staggering views. Not necessarily dramatic, but definitely pretty. Be aware that there are some problems on the route, which I'll get to when we work our way down. Now the instructions tell you to start off somewhere down south. We actually started off at Grassington because all hell was breaking out on the day that we were there. There were people everywhere, there were cars, there were weddings going on. It was a nightmare. There's nowhere to park. If you stop at any of the Bolton Abbey car parks, they are hugely expensive, really expensive place to stop. And although you're on the Bolton Abbey estate, you're not actually necessarily within the bounds of the Bolton Abbey walls. So you're just out in the surrounding land. So it's probably best to find somewhere else to park. There are loads of places to park the further you get away from Bolton Abbey. So we started right at the top here in Grassington, and there was a farm near the big T-junction at the top where we started, and we went out and we turned right. But that was quite a nice place because it was a Saturday. It was fairly quiet there at the farm, and we were able to park on the outside, but we made sure we tucked the bike away as much as we possibly could so we didn't disturb anybody. So let's have a look at how we went through the route. So we start here in Grassington, and you'll see that there's a couple of routes out, and what we've got to do is to head down the cycle route. Well, it's actually up, and when you first leave Grassington it's pretty pretty steep, but not too bad. It's quite manageable. Our bike at the moment, we're lacking third gear at the back because the teeth fell out, so that needs replacing, but we're also lacking the lowest gear at the front as well, because that one just doesn't change in. It's getting a bit tired, so I need to put some work in, and by that point in the break it had fallen apart. So we've actually only got ourselves 10 gears to work amongst. So we leave from Grassington and we head out following the cycle route. Now on your map that'll be a series of green dots, and we sort of head towards Hebden, and then down at Hebden and we head back towards the river, and we're starting on the, if you like, the north and the east side of the river. And it's not long before you can stop just outside Hebden, and there are spectacular views really down into Burnsall. So I'd recommend stopping there. You've just done quite a bit of climbing. Stop at that point, have a cup of tea and have a look around. Lots of places to park along there, but I would suggest that road's probably a bit thin, a bit narrow in which to stop. From Grassington we headed off from Hebden we headed out down towards Burnsall on the other side, and then you just follow the route literally as it's described in the map. So where does it become difficult? So you follow the route round and eventually you will get to the Laund Oak, which is at a place called Laund Farm, or Laund House. It's an absolutely fabulous old tree. One of my interests is of ancient trees and recording them and putting them on the ancient tree inventory, and this tree has now fallen over. It was still standing about 4 years ago, I gather, so in about 2018, it was 2017, 2018, it was still standing, but it has now fallen. It's a shame they haven't fenced off the stump as well, but at that point you will see that the road is actually closed. Well, it says it's closed. It's still passable for cyclists, but not for vehicles. And what's happened is the side of the route has collapsed and it's gone, and if you took a car there you just go rolling down the hill. But you can get through on the bike, and then you just head on down that road and it'll eventually take you right the way down from there into, once you've been through Appletreewick, you head all the way down really to Bolton Abbey. At Bolton Abbey the plan is that you cut across the wooden bridge that's halfway down. Now this is something that we've found in a lot of our rides since COVID, is that there is no access for bikes in many popular places. So many routes have been shut off. We see a lot of them around here, and so we got down as far as Bolton Abbey. We stopped for a cup of tea, but at that point was where we found that the route through was closed. So there you have to make a choice, because you don't really want to go back the way you've come, so you want to get round. They won't let you even carry a bike through. They won't give you any access at that point. So you're stuck really. So the thing to do is you carry on up that road. Now warning, where you stop at the wooden bridge, that is the low point. You're down at the river. Beyond that there is a brutal long hill back up. We met a chap and his daughter that was cycling around there, and it was their area, but they weren't looking forward to getting back up the hill. So we headed off up the hill. We did stop part way. My wife got off and I just I rode the bike the rest of the way, but it was pretty tough going. And then my wife joined us again at the top. What do I call her, my wife? Then Diane joined us again at the top, and we're able to just catch a bit of a breather. It's very pretty all the way around there. And then we head down towards Bolton Bridge. Now Bolton Bridge is on quite a main road, so you get down to the T-junction at the bottom of the little narrow road, And then when you join that main road at Bolton Abbey, and I haven't got the map with me here, but it's on the A59, you just turn right onto the road for a short way, and then you'll see a little sign on your left taking you off, and it takes you round and under the bridge. Don't go all the way down over the bridge, and then you have to go round the roundabout and back over. It's quite difficult to get down, but if you take the route that's on the left, so as you meet the A59, if you just take the road, the track on your left, which is not far down, it runs through, and then you can go underneath the bridge and join up with the cycle track there, and that will carry you back eventually past Bolton Abbey. That's a great place to stop. There's lots of grass around there, and you can stop and have another cup of tea, and then head your way back up that road. Now, there's lots to see along that way, but be aware that the road is quite narrow and there's a huge number of cars. On the day we were there, I've never seen so many Porsches, Bentleys, top of the range Audis. There was a wedding going on somewhere, but huge number of fast sports cars running along, and you do need to be a little bit careful. So you head back up really as far as you want to go, and but keep your eyes open. We were able to see curlew, we were able to see lapwing. There were a range of quite interesting wildlife on the way. Particularly the wildflowers were out. We were there at the sort of early April, and we were seeing wildflowers like wild garlic was absolutely everywhere. Recommend a nice walk around Malham for the wild garlic in Janet's Foss. We also had, I know it's a strange name, there was violets, early dog violets, common dog violets coming through. We also had quite a lot of dog's mercury that was there. Bluebells were just beginning, and wood anemone were looking absolutely stunning. So there's lots to see on the way. Keep your eyes open for the wildlife. The views are breathtaking, and don't feel bad about stopping at some point and getting out for a walk around. So we headed off, and then I confess that we got into Burnsall, and Burnsall's a great place to stop. There's some toilets there. There's a voluntary donation box, so do remember to put something in that. But it's a great place to stop, buy yourself an ice cream, top up with water, and generally rest. We stop by the river and we have lunch. It's quite busy, but not too much of a problem. Then from there we headed off back up towards Grassington and refound the bike. So the key issues on that route were really don't get caught by the closing of the road just above the tree, and also when you get down into Bolton Abbey you'll get stuck. How would I rate the ride? Well, I would say that the ride was spectacular in terms of views, because you're following the river most of the way, so you get to see it from both sides. Burnsall is a great place to go anyway. If you ever go out for a drive, there's not a lot of places to park, and they will try and make their money out of you. But it's a pretty little town. It deserves its fame. So, as far as difficulty is concerned, without doubt the hardest bit was coming out from Bolton Abbey towards Bolton Bridge. That one's a little bit brutal, not because it's really steep, but because it's pretty steep and goes on and on and on. But maybe that's been reopened by the time you come to do the ride. Okay, well, thanks for joining us, and I can't make any resources available to you, that would be unfair, but do visit the cyclethedales.org.uk site and pick that one up. And next time I think we will go to Windsor Great Park down south. Okay, take care. Remember, it takes two to tandem.